I'm a pescatarian. Do I regret it? Welcome back to Journey Through the Awesome. Welcome back, everybody. How are we all doing on this beautiful morning, or whenever you're seeing this? I will be publishing this episode hopefully by the morning. However, I'm not really sure. You never know with the way the internet algorithm is set up. But I wanted to make this episode because I was thinking to myself, I've been a pescatarian for, I'll say, about 2 years. Not very long compared to the amount of time that a lot of people spend. But in that amount of time, I feel like it's been long enough that I can take some notes and really decide where did I go right and where did I go wrong. Now, this wasn't the first time in my life that I've ever done any kind of dieting like this, any extreme things like this. I was a vegetarian, I want to say back when I was, I think, 13, 14. It was young. I'm 21 now, so it's been some years since then. But I remember being really young. I was basically a kid. I was a child. I basically failed because I did so many things wrong in such a short span of time. But let me tell you first why I became a vegetarian in the first place. The reason I became a vegetarian was because my brother has shown me this documentary of what it was like to see animals getting slaughtered in farms. Or it was something like that. It was basically the relationship between watching animals get slaughtered, or not watching them, animals getting slaughtered, and also climate change or something like that. It was this intricate system between how these different issues sort of correlated. So seeing that, I was so emotionally impacted that I was like, you know what? I don't want to eat animals anymore. Because by eating animals, I'm releasing, Kwameker cannot speak English. Releasing more gases into the air and seeing them get murdered and butchered like this, it's just terrible. It's wrong. I don't want to mess with any animals anymore. So I decided to go vegetarian, and like I said, that was that 2 years, or was that, I've been a pescatarian for 2 years, but I was a vegetarian, I think, maybe, it was for a long time actually. It was probably longer than a year. And that was when I was about 13, the age a lot of kids are like, whatever, animals, who cares, they die anyway, everybody passes away, let's all just eat McDonald's and don't even worry about it. But I had been a vegetarian for so long and I was very staunch about it. I was reserved. Nobody was going to make me move out of my position. Nobody was going to convince me to go back to eating meat. Until about a year later, when I was like, I've been losing so much weight. And mind you, again, I'm a child. I'm not an adult who has all of the knowledge and maturity to understand the pros and the cons of what it means to cut out certain food from my diet. I don't understand science like that. My brain is still developing. Or maybe it's not, because I haven't had the meat and the proper protein to facilitate it. And that's where we get to this bigger problem. Because I was doing vegetarianism so incorrectly that, keep in mind, I was playing sports at the same time. So let me explain how. I was doing sports all at the same time while doing this. I was exercising frequently. I was a very active child. And at the same time, I was just always moving around. I was this mobile kid. All the while, I'm not eating the proper proteins that I need to really strengthen my body and give me the nutrients that I need to keep growing. There are ways, I know that there's extensive research done into how you can fuel your body off of protein that's not necessarily meat, even if you are a kid, but I guess I just wasn't doing it properly. I was even eating vegetarian meat, but for the longest while, I was losing more and more and more weight until I became basically this skeleton kid who resembled Skeletor from He-Man. You know, I was walking around at most weighing 80 pounds soaking wet. No, it wasn't that extreme. That was a lie. That was a joke. But I might as well have been that weight because a small breeze could just make me flow into the wind like an angel. You would see me flying through the sky with my non-existent wings, but I was like a balloon. You know, I'd be Balloon Kid. That's what you might as well have called me because I was so small and so light. So this got to a point where my mom said to me, she said, you really just need to start eating meat. And even some of my family members would bring some food over and they would always try to sneak meat to me in some way. They would have chicken disguised under this pile of rice or potatoes or something like that. And I'd be like, I see that chicken and I'm not eating it. And they would always be like, oh, come on, you have to eat the chicken. You look like a skeleton, man. You look like you could be buried under the ground in a funeral because you haven't been eating things in so long. You look like a bag of bones that came back to life and got reanimated in some Frankensteinian experiment. You look like an H.P. Lovecraft creature. And I was like, oh, who cares? You know, I don't want to eat this meat. I don't want to eat this chicken. Just let me go on with my vegetarianism. Mind you, I wasn't eating any tofu or anything like that. I was mainly surviving off of veggie burgers. That's right. If you know Boca, they do not sponsor this video, but I believe we got most of our veggie burgers and veggie meat from Boca. So that's where I was eating the majority of my fake meats. It was good, and I remember the burgers did not taste that bad. They really didn't taste it, and it was a good experiment, but I just wasn't doing something right. We even went to the doctor, and they said, look, you are losing way too much weight. So eventually my mom had to cook up these fish fingers for me. If you live in the UK, that's what they call it. If they live in the States, then they call it, what is it, fish sticks? Yeah, fish sticks. Sticks made out of fish. That sounds like a mutant experiment. But anyway, I had these fish sticks or fish fingers, whatever you called them, and I was able to eventually get my weight back up. But I do believe that it may have prevented me from having another growth spurt. Being a vegetarian at that young age may have caused me to stay at 5'8" instead of growing to 6'4", which a lot of my relatives are at the size. I swear to you, some of my cousins are about 6'4" to 6'5". So if I had not been a vegetarian, could I have been in the NBA? Could I have played professional basketball if I had just kept eating meat? Maybe not. Who knows? But what I do know is that it was very unhealthy the way that I was going about doing it. Now we get to the present day. I have been a pescatarian, like I said, for about 2 years now. So it's basically vegetarianism, but I still eat fish. And I still eat animals that come from the sea. So I'm not completely cutting out animals from my diet. Oftentimes, where I mainly get my fish protein is if you ever go to stores like Walmart, you go to grocery stores, they'll carry these non-cookable fish packets. So it's basically instant tuna or instant salmon that comes in a packet, and you don't have to cook it, grill it, boil it. You don't have to do anything with it. You just open the packet. You can put it in a salad. You can put it in some kind of dish, rice dish maybe, and then you can eat it right there instantly. There's no preparation. There's no tools, no techniques, no secret magic involved in making this fish come out and become edible. It's just fish that you eat straight up. So I was like, yes, this is a godsend. You all have to understand, fish is expensive. You think those fish want to get caught in nets? They're not like chickens or cows who are willingly going onto these farms and you can just manipulate with the promise of gold and money and also maybe grass and chicken feed. I just internally vomited. Fish are smart. Well, maybe. That is debatable. But fish are smarter than the average creature. So you have to actually go out of your way to catch them in nets. Also might have to do with the fact that they're in the ocean. Once you catch the fish, they can go up for large prices because it's so hard just to get them. So that's why it's really hard for me to get a hold of any kind of fish products. And that's why it's a godsend to me and a blessing that I can get this instant fish packets. They're also relatively cheap, which definitely helps. I mean, I'm not over here money coming out of my pockets. You see money coming out of my pockets? Hold on. You see money coming out of there? There's no money. Look at that. Look at that. That's empty. That's what we call ghost money because it doesn't exist. So I was able to get some of these packets, and this has basically been the main way that I've been able to get my fish protein. Other than that, mostly I've been eating tofu, cottage cheese, and peanut butter. And oatmeal, because oatmeal has some protein. You ever get some of those Quaker oats? Again, not a sponsor. They'll have about 5 grams of protein per serving and stuff like that. And that's mainly how I've been doing it. So what are my thoughts on being a pescatarian after all this time? This 2 years of time that some say would be like a baby amount of time. It's honestly been pretty good. I feel like compared to when I was a vegetarian, I've been handling it pretty well. And sometimes I'm not even able to get those instant fish packets or get fish in any other way. So actually a lot of the time I've been a low-key vegetarian, but I've been balancing it with fish every now and then. And still, I've been able to maintain the same weight. A little bit. I've dropped about 3 to 4 pounds over the years. So I went from 140 pounds to about 135 to 136. Is that bad? I don't think so. I think overall, it just means you have to do something, but do it the right way. Do it in a way that is healthy for your mind and for your body. Do it in moderation. And then go slowly at first. And then if you really want to be passionate about a dietary choice or any kind of personal choice, then don't go right into it. Take it over time. Life is meant to be taken slowly. And you go through all the moments and increments, with these little scenes that build up to the ultimate climax and then the following action and conclusion. And this is how we learn how stories work in school. You remember this? That's how life is, kind of. Maybe you look at it differently. But I think overall, we can all learn a thing or two from people who, they do things the right way, and some people do things the wrong way. The wrong way is if you want to say, well, I'm a vegetarian, and then you cut everything off instantly. It might even be more harmful if you were a vegan. Could you imagine filling your life with dairy and meat, and then all of that is cut off, and all you have to eat is, what, soy products, vegetables, fruit? You can do it, but don't jump into it. That's like if you wake up one day and you say, I'm going to dunk a basketball, and you've never played basketball a day in your life. You think you'll just wake up and be the next Shaquille O'Neal? What if you're 4'11"? Okay, so you're going to go out there with a basketball and start dunking on people like Shaq? I don't think so. Well, I mean, maybe you could. If you were really blessed with athleticism, you could. That would be amazing. If you woke up at 4'11" and could start dunking on people and posting up in the post, and you were out there, I'm 4'11", and then you turn and other guys guarding you and you're like, ah! And then everybody's like, that guy's 4'11". He dunked on that guy who was about 7 feet tall. Take that guy to the league. I want to see that. That would be amazing. Although I don't think that would be very realistic. Maybe it could. Comment down below if you're 4'11" and you've ever dunked on somebody in the post. And also comment down below if you've ever been a vegetarian and it worked out for you. I want to know different stories and perspectives from people, and whoever has the best story will be featured in the next episode of this show. Speaking of the show, you can support by liking this video and liking all other videos and subscribing and putting this on your poster and all over your apartment and your house. You have posters of my face everywhere, and the people are like, who's that guy? And you say, he's this guy that has a YouTube channel. Go subscribe to his channel right now, or I'm going to kidnap you and force your family to pay a ransom. That got dark. Don't do that. But you can support by following all my socials in the description. And I am very excited to announce that I have other channels up that are consistently uploading content to. My other show, Pancake Doodle, is where I draw stuff while talking about stuff. It's kind of like a mini podcast series. You can find that in the link in the description down below. I cannot talk. You can also find a link to my music channel where I'm constantly releasing new music. First 2 tracks, it's a work in progress. Some might even say they're garbage, and that is okay. But those will also be down in the description below. And I will also leave a link to my other channel where I do workout vlogs. So you all can look forward to that and look forward to more episodes in the future. And I will see you all in the next one. As always,